Hello, everybody. It's Max with Crypto Talk Now, and boy, am I ever glad to be able to do another Metapolis update. I went on the Metapolis Twitter page, and I saw quite a few updates. And if anything, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So, check this out for yourself. This is pretty big, and if anything, I mean, it just shows that Metapolis is doing quite a few things consistently. And it's really remarkable to say the least. So, for instance, 17 hours ago, there's a Metapolis XRRQ. It says it was a splendid time meeting, of course, with Team ROQ official at Valorant India Invitational. Heck, I used to play Valorant myself. Let's see, about earlier this year. And I couldn't quite get really super into it, but nonetheless, I did recognize it was a nice, for instance, free to play first person shooter. Not exactly my particular type of one and so on, but if anything, again, is coming from that League of Legends team, of course, that did and is continuing to do big things and so on. And of course, they put out, of course, Valorant and whatnot. And if anything, to see Metapolis connected with all that, pretty huge. Because if anything, like we outlined in the past, Metapolis does have those esports connections and so on. So it says the team fought with great spirit and, of course, kept us on edge with their skill. Well played, team. Some particular pictures that you see right here, for instance. So, a little bit more on that if you want to look more into it. Of course, I'm going to at least give it a like on that. How about this from a few days ago, last week? It says, extremely grateful to be part of such a phenomenally successful event. A huge thank you for the organizers and sponsors of the event. And if you're wondering what this is all about, basically, it says a huge thank you to just that. For instance, it's this pre-NFT London event in partnership, of course, with GMW3 and sponsored, of course, by Metapolis and the Land Vault. And if anything, we'll take a moment basically to show you guys just that here in a moment. And of course, we'll be right back after we do so. So that was really cool seeing that, of course. And I just want to throw this out there, and that is, I've seen quite a few different metaverses and so on. I know I've been covering the likes of Metapolis way back when I was just MaximusCrypto on my own, do my thing before I joined here at Crypto Talk Now. But if anything, I always recognized that Metapolis was definitely one that stood out compared to, some of these other metaverse platforms and so on. And this is, of course, not me bashing some of those other ones and whatnot, but for me, on my short list is basically just that Metapolis. And for instance, I also believe that Shiba Inu's metaverse, when that comes out as well, those are going to probably be my two go-to metaverse platforms. It's just, there's so much quality, especially when it comes to the likes of Metapolis. And of course, we are The yet is best to come, of course, with Shiba Inus, but for the purposes of this particular video, we're of course talking about Metapolis. So if anything, I'm gonna go further down, and I want to show you guys, of course, some of these other ones. You know, we basically just saw this particular clip right here. I mean, heck, you see the likes of Sandra Helu, and so on from Metapolis. But how about, for instance, this right down here? Not this particular one, but it says, for instance, KYC and Metaverse Identity Thread. This is, of course, part 1 of 3, but it says, at Metapolis, our vision is to bridge the gap between the physical and digital worlds. On top of that, our metaversal avatar standards play a key role, keeping engagement and interactivity at the core of immersive experiences delivered, of course, to clients and users. We're going to take a moment just to hear this, and of course, I want to find out more for you guys and show you, of course, more about this particular thread. It says, of course, you know, part 1 of 3. But again, we'll come back in about 1 minute. Let's go ahead and play this. Actually, we like that music. We'll probably get a copyright strike for playing it, but you know what? It's all right. I actually really do enjoy that type of music. Here's one thing I would definitely want to point out, and basically, I'm just checking a few things, and that is basically this. You know, I like the idea they mentioned the whole thing about KYC and metaversal identity. You know, as some of you guys know, I have a gaming background and so on. You know, been really into gaming for probably most of my life. Dates all the way back to 8-bit Nintendo and so on. Shout out, of course, to, you know, DPG online gaming community. If you follow me on DPG Maximus, which is my gaming channel, I of course have a lot more subs there than here. But if anything, I always recognize different types of games, not just the first-person shooters and whatnot. And one thing I want to point out, of course, like what you see right here, the importance of the KYC and metaversal identity. You know, before we take a little bit more of a deeper dive into this particular topic, it is so crucial to recognize just that. Because if anything, you know, think about it. This is different. You know, people state, you know, well, metaverse, you know, what's the big deal? It looks like, you know, they're using Unreal Engine 5 and so on. And, you know, reminds me a lot of Grand Theft Auto. They're just making a different one. Really? When people talk like that, no offense to them, but it just shows me basically their lack of understanding of the bigger picture here. You have to have that type of KYC, because if anything, it is going to turn to just that. It's going to turn into, like, you know, Grand Theft Auto. Why would you want that to do that? Why would you want to purchase, for instance, the likes of a certain plot of land in these metaverse worlds and so on? Hence, you know, for instance, Metapolis with these domes, or heck, you know, some of these other areas, right? Not necessarily domes, right? It could be not necessarily Metapolis is metaverse, but it could be some of these other ones, right? Like, you've seen ones in which have apartments and so on. I'm glad that Metapolis addresses this, because if anything, the bullying, right? On top of that, the trolling, which is another form of e-bullying, if you will. And if anything, you don't want somebody to just come and break into your, you know, virtual world, if you will, your virtual apartment, your virtual dome, destroy your venue, all those types of things. All of these things that are mentioned, right? These metaversal identities and so on simply make sense. It prevents those particular things from happening, compared to the likes of, you know, just running around in some Grand Theft Auto game and so on. Don't get me wrong, I love Grand Theft Auto, right? Fun game. but it's just that it's a game. And if anything, I remember back in the day when we used to have servers for those type of things. Don't know what I'm talking about? Look it up for yourself back in the day, especially with what was it, Grand Theft Auto, MMORPG mods that they had, for instance, for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. There was only so much you could do to monitor trolling, bullying, and so on. And heck, even on our first-person shooter games back for Call of Duty and so on, people come in there, dropping N bombs, stuff like that, and it's just crazy. You had to have a thing in place to basically either have a no tolerance policy or warn people. In this type of situation, you don't want to deal with that childish nonsense and so on. So I'm really, really glad that they addressed it. Let's kick it into more of what they're talking about in regards to all this. And as we zoom in, it comes to this particular area, and it mentions, for instance, this next part. Now, states, kind of like what I basically just was saying. A crucial part involves linking the avatar to the owner, as this opens the door for integrations such as wearables, unlocking personalization, and a metaversal identity that you can utilize across worlds. Again, what's the point of getting certain brands involved? Like, for instance, I don't know, I'm just gonna throw out some names out there, even though they don't necessarily have the partnerships yet. But having a pair of Air Jordans or something like that, if some guy can just copy that and make it fake and so on, and just slap it on like it's like a game, like a regular skin, if you will. You have to have those avatars in which this is your online persona, this is your online identity. Again, part of the whole KYC type process, right? It simply makes sense. I'm glad, again, that they address this. A little bit more in regards to this. So there's this. It says what currently exists within the market are gamified, I should say, avatars that play independent roles per platform. In order to build the next internet, a universal ID is required, as we also have to take into account a safe and secure environment for all our users and clients. And again, I think if anything, we see so much emphasis on the beauty of Metapolis, and don't get me wrong, it looks really, really good. The quality and stuff like that. But think of the countless times, and I will use the video game example, right? You have a game, it's got the greatest graphics in the world. Gameplay sucks. Why does the gameplay suck? Because they skipped certain things. With Metapolis, you're seeing literally like good quality graphics, right? Even on the low end, right? Where you have the comparisons of high poly characters, medium range, and of course, the Minecraft type-esque, if you will, because they realize that they need to hit every different user base. But on top of that, statements like this, right? Secure environment for all our users and clients. That is so crucial. And again, I'll tip my hat to them if I had one on right now in regards to that. So I wanted to, of course, point that out. A little bit more in regards to our coverage for Metapolis today. I'm just going to scroll a little bit further down. I got to go a little bit further back, actually. Get back to that main part. So there's a little bit more in regards to this. And how about this? Of course, off the subject of KYC, this was back on the 15th. It says, honored to be part, let me zoom in a little bit more, of Tech Innovation Awards 2022. It is a great awards show highlighting those making an impact with their industry in the field at, of course, this particular magazine, which is Entrepreneur Middle East. And, quite a few followers in regards to that. But look at this. Very recognizable guy, right? Congratulations, of course, to the one, the only, Mohan Panada, co-founder and, of course, CEO of what? Metapolis, right? For winning, listen to this, Blockchain Visionary of the Year award. Excuse me. The Tech Innovation Awards 2022 is sponsored, of course, by what you see right here. And that is such an honor. I wanted, of course, to give a shout out to him. And, how cool is that, to win such a great award like this and so on. So going a little bit further down, because I did also run into the whole section of like what we covered a few weeks ago. A little bit more, of course, what you saw with Valorant, whether you're for that game and whatnot. But this was one of the main things that I wanted to show to you guys before we wrap things up here in a little bit. And of course, I'm going to blow this up. So look how cool that is. So for instance, Tech Innovation Awards 2022 presented by, of course, Entrepreneur Middle East. Heck, I mean, I have an MBA, and I have entrepreneurship emphasis. And of course, I'm familiar with the likes of these particular publications and whatnot. But if anything, I love seeing other entrepreneurs who are just killing it, doing their thing. Shout out to him for just everything. I mean, even right here with this particular avatar, this of course I think is on the high end for the poly count that we basically outlined before on a previous video. If you haven't seen that particular video, check it out. It shows the 3 different stages of, I guess you could say, the graphic features. The Minecraft-esque looking type avatar, the medium range one, and of course the high end one. And of course, there you see him right there, Mohan right there, and that's just, I don't know, pretty cool. And again, like you mentioned, such honor and whatnot. There's a little bit more. And I think maybe we showed this one before. I can't remember. Yeah, I mean, it's something we're going to play for about 43 seconds. But like it says, safety, security, and privacy are the core to the value of a proposition. A little bit more kind of like what the whole KYC type thing is. But we'll just play again for about 43 seconds. Then, of course, we'll come right back. I gotta admit, I love the choice of music with some of these clips. But anyway, I actually mean that. I do. I really, really do. But anyway, just going a little bit further down, there's a little bit more. And of course, I'm going to cut it off here in a bit because, again, it's just kind of going back to our last coverage for Metapolis. So there's also this. It says Metapolis X, the Rare Antiquities, TRAT. There's this particular one that says Metapolis is excited to be able to bring the Rare Age Vision, and we'll just hover over that. So the Rare Age Vision is basically it's automated NFT fractionalization of fine art and antiquities, gas-free, decentralized exchange NFT marketplace to trade fine art and antiquities, a metaverse for museums and more. And that, of course, makes sense because a lot of times when we showed previous footage in regards to some of the art galleries, right, with the NFTs and so on, it would make sense that they would team up with the likes of Rare Age to accomplish this. But anyways, it says this is accessible, of course, through the NFTs and also revolutionizing art commerce through evolution of the metaverse. You can, of course, read more about this from ArabianBusiness.com, which states world's first metaverse as a service launches NFT museum galleries and so on. Take a look more into that if you enjoy that particular type of thing. And then, of course, last, there's this in regards to the whole exciting updates to come regarding Zilliqa City and that whitelist for M Genesis in collaboration, of course, with Zilliqa. If anything, I'm going to try to do a better job of putting a little bit more focus on just that with the whole thing of this collaboration with M Genesis in collaboration with Zilliqa and so on. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another update in regards to that maybe within the next few days. Maybe, I don't think more than maybe a week or two. But if anything, we'll definitely revisit the subject and give you guys a little bit more news updates in regards to that. Again, you see Sandra Helu and the team, Mohan and so on. Very good to see that. And of course, even her avatar, right? We talked about avatars earlier. She always had like one of the most impressive ones and so on. Um, and this time we are really wrapping it up. This was posted on November 4th, and of course, shout out to Aaron Brown who wanted me to do more of a deep dive into this. So I'm going to go ahead and play this particular video. This is Metapolis World Builder, home to the creator economy, like it mentions. The World Builder is here to revolutionize, like it says, the creator economy, fully personalize, customize, and build your own space as per your liking. We covered a little bit about this on a previous video and so on, but this course is a little more in detail. It says tap into a series of products and assets by the creator economy with the World Builder. We're going to go ahead and blow that up, and then we'll be back in about 1 minute. It's pretty cool, pretty impressive. And one last thing I'm just basically going to state is, yeah, you saw the whole thing with the N Genesis be able to like create like one of your own domes and so on. But for the venues, how about some like the clubs and so on, right? Like so, let's say there's a local hip hop club in Metapolis's metaverse and so on. We were talking basically, excuse me, about the whole concept of the KYC and the safety concerns with that and so on to prevent bullying and whatnot. At the same time, we don't want just anybody to go maybe into that particular club, especially like trolls, right? So if anything, talking about creating those custom avatars, I'm already thinking of like those various clubs creating like, for instance, a virtual bouncer, right at the front of that particular door entrance that you saw for that dome and whatnot, and then creating basically like setting up the KYC. So yeah, you want to get into here. This is an exclusive event, and you can't just come in here and basically ruin it. You know what I mean? Literally a virtual bouncer, right? Gonna throw them out if they need to, but of course, not disrespectfully and so on. But I think you're gonna see quite a few of these types of things happen, especially in the likes of Metapolis and whatnot. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up here. Again, I want to say shout out to Aaron Brown, who he has basically, especially in the past, done a really, really good job on his edits. He's a very proud supporter of Metapolis, an avid gamer. How about this? Let's give him a real good shout out and so on. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys his particular Twitter, because this guy deserves to have a few more followers, to be honest. So if you want to follow him, he makes great edits, and he's done it for Metapolis a while back. He only has 61 followers. If you want to see somebody who's like it mentions, a great video game lover, metaverse, and NFT enthusiast, definitely give him a follow back. And if anything, see some of the clips that he's done for Metapolis on the edits. Really, really great job with that. Keep up the good work with what you're doing. Always keep your dreams alive. Never let anybody tell you you can't do what you want to do, because you're definitely doing it. All right. So guys, again, like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It's been a pleasure to be able to bring you guys Metapolis content once again. And if anything, in closing, one thing I definitely want to mention, I know I'm out of the frame for it, but Zilliqa's, we're of course talking about Zilliqa's Metapolis, right? But if anything, with the current market conditions, this is at a little over 2 cents. So 0.02057. And if for any reason, there's of course people like the FUD and whatnot. If this dropped below support at 2 cents, I would be even that much more bullish on it. I feel as though Zilliqa is very, very undervalued. And if anything, we get back into a bull market, you can see more and more things happen. I get the whole debate about people saying, well, the only big thing we had, for instance, was the buy the rumor, sell the news event that happened last April with the likes of the Miami event and so on. But again, those are just things in which that was developmental times that we were in. We are now entering a different era, especially with the likes of Metapolis. And of course, if you want to count of all the different things that are part of the Zilliqa ecosystem, it's tremendous. Zilliqa in itself, guys, like I mentioned before on previous videos, it is not just a token. They're their own blockchain, hence why they have their own coin. So many, many different things that Zilliqa brings to the table, not just Metapolis, but Metapolis, of course, for me, that was the cream of the crop. And that's why I got into Zilliqa and why I hold a bag of Zilliqa. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks again for watching, everybody. We'll see you, I should say, on the next one. Over and out for now. Bye-bye.